This is the most versatile base design at the moment, and here is why. Each the time you are on wipe day, you always start from scratch. You don't have any moms, dads, or loans in-game, which means your base should be something that doesn't require anything supernatural from you. In today's base, you will start with a 2x1 cabin, where in solo or together with your teammate, you can do all sorts of naughty things.
Put your dick away, Walton.
We've figured out with our starter cabin, but what makes all my bases so awesome is that they build in stages. Even with its second stage, you can shoot guys who are passing by near your base. Yes, this is my favorite early shooting floor, which is going to turn into a non-lootable storage for your weapons. And the only way to grab your loot from there is to raid it with a cost of 7 rockets, and that's already a lot. And you will have 2 of these storages right on opposite sides of your base. You'll also have your own private compound area around your base. Not as big as those clan ones, of course. However, there are multiple fence turrets in it. Easy to build peak downs, also guarded with turrets, a bunch of peaks on the rooftop, and of course some place for your mini, windmills, SAM sites, and some combat spawn points. And here I am. Now let's go to the room tour itself. Follow me. Let's build nice and juicy bases, and this base not an exception. And to build this base completely, you will spend only 1 box of resources this base is building in stages. And these stages are pretty easy and smart. You'll see it in building part of the video. There are 4 entrances to your compound area from the outside. Each entrance is guarded by its own turret, which is located behind multiple chain fences, and if the turret were passed, bad boys will meet a gun trap in here. You have 4 gun traps on your territory, by the way. Plus, from these peak downs, you can counter your gate locks. All the entire compound area is divided into 4 parts, which means that if bad boys will start raiding you from any side, they won't be able to take over the entire compound area, and you'll always have an access to an extra beds, boxes, and so on. Also, you are free to use all these shooting peaks during online defense. The base design is completely symmetrical, however, there is only one entrance to the base itself, and it leads you directly to the second floor. Here you can use furnace as a jump up or a ladder hatch or just ladder. Personally, I love furnaces much more. The first floor is your utility room, and it's comfort and spacious as it could be. There are a second tier workbench, 3 sleeping bags, a gun trap, there is no limit to them yet, and 2 non-lootable lockers, which are the very early shooting floor BTW. There are 12 turrets in this base, and it fits the limit perfectly, right behind these double doors. There are 2 convenient loot rooms, up to 10 boxes. Here you can store everything you need for crafts and so on. On the 3rd floor there is a mixing table, as well as an extra turret that will definitely help you if the bad boys decided to raiding you through the shooting floor. This is the main combat spawn room. Here is a locker, large battery, as well as vendings, in which I'd recommend to store everything for online defensive, grenades, HV rockets, meds, and so on. My condolences to those who want to raid you through this shooting floor, because it's going to be a very complicated thing to do. There are 4 turrets in a circle, and each turret covers the other 2. Well, before you going offline, the whole shooting floor can be sealed with garage doors. The raiders will definitely have to tinker with this for sure. If you shoot someone down there and want to loot him, then it's very easy to get down from the shooting floor in this way without any HP losses. Mobility of this base is awesome. It's very comfortable to move around it, and in general, it will be very nice and cool place to use during wipe. Well, before you get on a rooftop, you can check and peek there with help of these roof peaks. The rooftop is brilliant. There are protected turrets, which is quite hard to grip from a mini. Here is also extra beds for you and your teammates. Behind these single doors, there are such an unexpected and OP peak to entire compound area, and its best part is that from your side, you can easily shoot those who will be in your compound. But at the same time, if the raiders are going to use raiding tower, it will be very difficult to kill you and even notice that you are there. And this is very important during an online raid. Please note that there are a bunch of gun traps all over the shooting floor. And my advice to you is, if you have some extra resources, place them for sure, cause it can compensate the restrictions of turret limits. Also, I couldn't help myself not placing a small stash in here, which is located right behind the vending. Open the door, then look through this tiny gap in here and get an access to a small box. If you are lucky owner of Frontier DLC with barrels, then you know what this small box can be replaced with. Keep in mind that small box have to be locked with a code lock. Here we have an entrance to our main core right through the airlock. Now we are in our 2BI1 core here. You are free to drop 3rd tier workbench, big boxes, TC, and rest. Here is TC upkeep cost. Keep in mind that it's better not to put a double door frame in here to be ensured. You are free to seal it with HQM wall at any time, turning this TC room into HQM cube. It might be not very convenient way, day. However, this is an extremely cheap and fast way to protect your TC against unexpected raid. Personally, I really love this base very much, but I want to remind you that I release several private bases every month on my Patreon. Today in particular, I uploaded this awesome base there, and it will take a lot to destroy it. Convenient storage, hidden TC, awesome shooting range, caches, bunkers, and all this is the debut private base that is already available for viewing. I will be releasing 2 videos per month on Patreon, and for just 7.5 you will get access to everything I publish there. In the near future, there will be a lot of private bases appearing there. The link to Patreon will be in the description. As always, I recommend immediately sketching out the future foundation plan for the house. This house is as unpretentious as possible to the terrain. The base here will be 2S1 with triangles. Our main body will be made of HQM, everything else will be iron. You can initially make everything out of stone. I advise building this shack with an airlock right away. For this you will need 2 single doors. Craft them better in advance. Also, do not forget that you do not need to make an opening for a double door to the TC, make a HQM cube. Now I will show you the most ideal arrangement of all things in this shack. As always, I add light for your convenience so that you can see everything. As a result, you will have 3 large boxes, 3 stoves, as well as the first workbench and 4 sleeping bags. From the outside, your shack, if anything, looks like a regular 2x1, but through the eyes of the player, it looks exactly like this. It is convenient for everyone to use, it is quite spacious, and there was enough space for everything. Even to put up a wall, nothing gets in the way. Be sure to check that it can be placed wall, so that if anything, you can build up in case they start raiding you right from the start. As soon as you have additional resources, I immediately suggest making an exit to the 2nd floor. This action has many advantages. Firstly, the most obvious thing is that you add 1 additional door to yourself, and it will also be uncomfortable for the raiders to sit on your roof because they will be in full view of everyone around. You will climb home through the thatched roof. Do not improve it in any case because it is problematic to hollow out. Now we will be building up the 2nd floor. At this point, the most important thing is not to make a mistake because there will be an initial firefight here. This is my first video with English voiceover on this channel, and now I need your support more than ever. Be sure to write a comment about what you liked or disliked about this video. I will definitely listen to all the comments. I will not distract you anymore. Let's continue the construction. I hope you built the initial floor for firefight correctly, because now we are making the main entrance to the house. As I said before, I suggest doing it through the furnace. If you don't like it, put a hatch or a ladder. Also, if you get a gun trap, the place for it is right above this furnace. Be sure to add a shelf in the middle of the wall here. You can put electric furnaces, gun traps, boxes, and a turret there. In general, do not neglect this ceiling. As a result, you get such a main entrance to the house. In principle, it is convenient to use everything. However, I would not recommend melting anything in this furnace. Now that we're done with this side, we need to slightly redesign the other side where we had the initial climb. Here we should immediately make the climb to the 3rd floor. You can remove the double door from here. We will now move it a little higher. Please be careful here. Pay attention that first there is a half wall, then a window opening. This is necessary for the future firefight that we will have on the roof. And as a result, look, you already have the main entrance to the house. You also have a climb to the roof. And from the outside, it all looks exactly like this. Some of you might say, look, hidden joint, you can hollow out a window opening there. If they hollow it out, it will not give anything at all. So this is probably the last thing to worry about. Next, look, on the side where we have 2 double doors facing one side. In this place, we should make preparations for future boxes. As a result, you will have 2 separate treasuries with 5 boxes each. Look, on the left we have a descent, and on the right are these 2 double doors that I was talking about. Also note that this treasury is recessed half a floor down. This is done for greater capacity. These 2 storages are completely identical to each other. Note that if you know where to hit, these rooms can be opened too for the price of 1. But this can be easily avoided. You can either upgrade to HQM, or you can add 2 additional dividing walls from the outside, but I would just upgrade to HQM in your place. What? You will spend 100 and that's it? No, I'm not saying that 100 HQM is not enough, I'm just offering a solution. Next, let's take a look at the area below our initial shooting range. We'll add a shelf in the middle of the wall and put up walls everywhere. We'll do the same thing on the other side, where we have a window. In the future, we'll put an inaccessible locker there. It's not necessary to put it now. I'll show you how to put it at the end. Our little house already looks pretty sweet for a raid, so now I suggest putting up additional walls up to our base. At least upgrade the walls that you won't have access to later to metal. We had a small box behind the vending machine, and now I'll show you how to do it right away. First, we get rid of this single door. Then, we simply build up this place from the inside. Next, we need to make a small box and a code lock. We install the box at about this distance. The double door on the right will also be in your way. You need to remove it for now. Next, look. Turn the vending machine with its back to you. As soon as you feel that the store is free to move left and right, pull it to the left and install it. The box will be used without any problems. And even the door from here can be installed without any difficulties. If your store keeps wanting to spin, just put something in it. When there is something in it, you can't spin it. Now let's go to our roof for now and build it up properly. Don't forget that we need to have preparations for future roof picks here, as well as a window opening near which the stores will be in the future. This is the third floor of this house, and here you will have the main combat spawn. This means that it is best to upgrade the entire third floor to metal, and if there is any extra HQM, I would upgrade the ceilings to it. You never know, they might launch MLRS at you. Also, in addition to the locker we have here, we should also have a large battery here. There are 12 turrets in this house, but only one battery, but we also have small batteries that we recently upgraded. 3 extra turrets can be switched to small batteries. If you don't know how to connect turrets, here is a diagram for you. This is for 9 turrets, if that's any help. Note that it is possible to look in here. You can stop these attempts in this way, and we do the same thing on the other side. I also suggest making future exits to the roof itself right away. The main thing is to do everything as I do in the video. I recommend upgrading all the ceilings in this house to metal right away. This will save you a lot of resources. In general, it is cheaper to upgrade ceilings to metal right away than to stone. We have done one side and we do the same thing on the other side. For the roof exit, I only added one double door here. Ideally, there should be a garage door right under it. If you don't have one, install a double door as well. But I'm saying this for the case when you haven't finished building your shooting range and don't want anyone to look in through these gaps. Now, the most important thing in this house is the main shooting range. Our entrance to the house will serve as a reference point. We install a high foundation in the center. This is if you want to save resources. If it doesn't work or you have any other problems, install a low one, just add half a wall. We are making the side where the turrets will be, so there will be no entrance here. I will say right away about the improvements. Upgrade the central part of this shooting range to metal. Foundations, window openings, frames, everything. Because when they start blasting with rockets, the shooting range needs to stay standing. The sides can already be upgraded to stone because they don't really affect anything. Be sure to add these triangles for stability here. Install a ceiling directly above the entrance because we will be installing an additional door there. I very often see in my houses that you don't put up nets as I show in the video, and the grates. Prison bars are a bad idea in general. Why do you use them? Well, yes, they are stronger than nets, but they are useless. Turrets don't shoot well through them, and you can't shoot well through them. Putting them under your shooting range is the first step to ruining your house. Here is a comparison. A rocket will not fly through a net, but it will fly through a prison grate. Note that these triangular roofs need to be installed before you install the ceiling above the turret. I'll explain what I mean a little later. All 4 of these turrets are under triangular ceilings, and these triangular ceilings need to be installed in advance. Because if you install the triangular roofs first, you won't be able to install the ceiling there. And that means -1 automatic turret, and I don't approve of that. As you remember, we upgraded the whole center to metal downstairs. We'll upgrade everything to metal here too. Well, except that the internal frames can be left in stone and the triangular roofs, the upper ones I mean. Frames are not walls, so the turret will be installed in any case. Remember, I told you about the ceiling that is absolutely necessary above the turret. Look, here the turret should be installed exactly as in the video, but if there is no ceiling, this turret can be blown up with a grenade. That's why you need a ceiling right above it, but you won't be able to install this ceiling if you already have triangular roofs installed. So first you install the ceiling and only then the triangular roof. The house is completely symmetrical and we do the same on the other side. If you have any difficulties with this house or any other house from my channel, you can always contact my channel's Discord, which is called Good Joint. My team and I will be happy to help you with any questions you have about the game. The link to the Discord will be in the top comment. If anyone is confused, this is the side where our lockers are located in the wall, and this is the side where we will have the entrance to our inner compound. The same rules apply here. We upgrade the middle to metal and the sides to stone. Here you also need to put triangles for stability. If you have the resources, it is also advisable to upgrade them to metal. Also note that these ceilings that I am going to install now need to be installed installed now before you install the triangular roofs for the shooting range, because you will not be able to install them later, and this problem cannot be solved in any other way, only by blowing up or carving out. Here also, do not forget the triangular ceiling in the middle. There will be a turret there if anything. And so, in general, everything is identical to what we did before. Although no, there are still some distinctive moments here. It is better to leave the roofs on this side in stone. If they are in stone, they will not let you fall down. If they are in metal, you will fall here. In my case, I did not fall because I have walls from the new skin, this container. Its texture is a bit wider than ordinary metal. Here also all the ceilings are in metal and the top in stone. And as a result, you get such a wonderful shooting range. You can shoot far, you can shoot under yourself, you do not fall down. It's great. We should have a solo door and a mesh door at the bottom. The mesh door must be here, not a double regular one, because we definitely need this effect of shooting through for the automatic turret. Well, you can put the triangular roofs from the bottom right away. They will not interfere with anything here. So you can consider that you have made one side of the shooting range. Everything is correct here. There is vision on the first doors. You can shoot far. And since our house is completely symmetrical, we do exactly the same thing on the other side, and the house is already becoming very beautiful. From the outside, when all your most important shooting ranges are raised, the house should look exactly like this. Now look, we have such an empty space between our shooting ranges. We put a window opening. Next to it, near the gap, we install an opening for a double door, cover all this with ceilings, and install a door to close this gap. And that's it, you're done. Now we need to repeat this procedure 3 more times. Everything is the same from all sides. The most important thing is to make sure that the double door closes the gap from all sides. Otherwise, people will be able to climb up to you. Now we are moving on to the roof of our house. Where we have gaps, we put turrets, that is, between our shooting range and the roof. This is where our beds should be. Note that if you do not have any paid DLC for stone, you must first place the beds and only then close the roofs. If you put the ordinary stone first, the beds will not fit. Buy DLC for buildings, buy Patreon hidden joint. How much more can you? By the way, we have already installed the second wind turbine here. Wind turbines are good, of course, but I also had Sam's here, and their place is just between the wind turbines. If anything, they are located right where we have the exit to the roof, and there is absolutely nothing complicated about installing them. Further, if you did everything according to the guide, you will have such empty spaces left. This is where we put the openings for single doors. Then we install the frame for the triangular hatch, and on this frame we install triangular roofs. To put a door or not to put a door is up to you. Well, we repeat this procedure 3 more times. If you do not have enough stability, just add a couple of frames to the shooting range below, and that will be enough. And as the final chord on our roof, we install such triangles roofs. There is no special protection in this, it is purely for aesthetics. When you have completely built a house without a compound, it should look exactly like this. And there is nothing complicated about installing the walls. Just go up and put them. People always ask me if it is possible to use stone walls instead of wooden ones. Of course you can. I put wooden ones because it is simply more beautiful. The walls are placed everywhere in the same way. I will not focus on this. Now we need to add spikes to our triangles on each side. We put auxiliary triangular straw ceilings, then put spikes in the center, remove the ceilings, the spikes remain hanging, and repeat this procedure on 3 more sides. I would like to say that this is all, but in fact it is not. There are a couple more things here that you might have difficulties with, but we are completely finished with the exterior of this house. The first important point is these stores on the shooting range. I put them with open double doors. I orient myself by them. The only thing that can go wrong here is the large distance between the vending machines. There should be no gaps between them. If in doubt, it is better to practice on creative. Also, one very smart subscriber told me that it turns out that lockers can be placed without even going down. That is, you can just come up and put this locker right from here. I was surprised when I found out I have a 16,000 hours in Rust and I am still learning. And to make this locker inviolable, you need to add such an iron ceiling above it. On the other hand, everything is similar. Thank you for watching. Be sure to share your opinion in the comments and wait for my other videos. There will be a lot of them soon. And I'm going to come up with a new house.